Well, Matt, a great round today. I spoke to you yesterday and you said you like playing in the wind, but obviously you like playing in all weathers around this course.
Yeah, it was a little breezy out there today. It got a little swirly. But after yesterday's round, I probably had a little bit of confidence the way I struck the ball and went out there with that confidence today and managed to shoot 3 under.
A real hometown advantage, do you think?
To an extent. I mean, I do know the golf course. I'm comfortable with lines off the tees and that. The greens are completely different than what I grew up on here. Different grass, a lot different breaks. So, I mean, I do have local knowledge, and it'll be fun to be out there on the weekend with a lot of friends and family and members from this course out there.
And 7 under, do you think that'll hold up this afternoon?
It'll be very close. I would say, if not the last group, I'll be in the second last group, in my opinion. It's still not playing easy out there, but the greens are somewhat receptive, so the guys, if it doesn't blow too hard, there'll be some good scores this afternoon, definitely.
Adam said he thought the greens were much slower today than they were yesterday. Do you feel the same?
Yes. I had a lot of issues getting putts to the hole. I'm sure they had to protect them yesterday with the heat they were expecting, and then I'm sure they'll double cut them and we'll have open greens the next 2 days.
What would it mean to you holding on to that cup?
Yeah, of course I've thought about it, but it'd be fantastic. Anytime you have a chance to win your country's Open would be fantastic. But 2 days to go, I can't really be thinking about that right now. I'll be thinking about that if I have a chance coming down the stretch on Sunday.
Adam Scott said he was feeling rather tired after battling the wind yesterday, and this afternoon he was just going to have a sleep, have a rest. What do you plan?
I have 2 young kids that are ready to go out and play, so I was absolutely exhausted yesterday too. I was asleep at 8:30 and my daughter woke me up at 4:30, so I'm sure I'll have a rest this afternoon, but I think we're out in a ferry and going somewhere.
To the floor, please.
Yeah, Matt, just an extension to Kathy's question earlier. We make a lot of the local knowledge around here. I mean, do we make too much of it? And, is it worth a shot around or not even?
I would say on the old golf course, definitely would have been a lot more. These greens are totally new to me. I've only played I missed the cut last year, so 2 practice rounds. I've probably played 8 rounds of golf on this golf course since I've been here. I don't come back here and play. If I do come back, I'll practice. I'll be on the range with Gary, who works here, my coach. But I'd say more so the local knowledge would come with the wind and understanding how heavy it can be from certain areas. And some players don't. You might not feel it in some areas where I'll know it's going to be there.
Matt, you told Kathy yesterday, as it was in the dark and running off, that you had 4 under, but you felt like it could have been better. Did you feel the same about today, or was today? No,
today wasn't quite as good ball striking wise. I'm very happy to shoot 3 under, but can't get greedy. And 3 under was a good score today, and I think that's about what I should have shot.
Matt, can you clarify the difference between the first and second round in terms of the conditions and what that meant in a score? Was it 2, 3 shots?
It's hard to put a number on it, but it was extremely difficult yesterday. The wind was 1.5, 2 club wind, but you still got to get it in the hole. It doesn't mean if it's windy or not windy, you still got to get it in the hole. So it really doesn't it makes a difference, but. I mean, if there was no wind, I could have gone out and shot 3 over today. That's how golf is. It's just a matter of executing, and you've got to leave yourself in the right spots and make as many putts as you can without the weather.
Just on the second today, you seemed to hit a perfect shot in. Got the lower tier and just kept running. Was that just the ball releasing with the wind behind it?
Yeah, I mean, I talk about local knowledge and knowing that wind, but I thought it was straight left to right, and it kind of knocked my ball down and landed hard. Like Leash landed in the same spot, and he went to 5 feet. Mine landed hard, and it's just a very tough hole from back there. You're up high, the ball's up a lot higher, and the ball's above the trees, so it's hard to judge down there.
Matt, from the outside, your career's been a fairly steady progression of improvement. Of course, you had your first win last year on the PGA Tour. Contended at the PGA this year. You had a good chance at this tournament 5 years ago in 2010. What's the difference with Matt Jones, the golfer, perhaps in 2015 from then, and have all those experiences? I imagine they'll all help you. come the weekend?
Yeah, probably 5 more years of experience, being more comfortable in this situation, and knowing that if I don't play well enough, it's not the end of the world. I'm sure I used to let it get to me a lot more when I was younger, but nowadays it's you go home, play with your kids, and you forget about it. So that's probably what's helped me a lot too, being married and having a couple of kids to forget about golf away from the course.
Matt, can I just piggyback on Rod's question? I was going to ask you also the fact that you have established yourself on the PGA Tour. Is it more about going forward, more about getting yourself into contention in the majors, or is it more about becoming a multiple PGA Tour winner, then getting yourself in?
I'd say it would go hand in hand. The more I win on tour, the more chances I'm going to have in majors, the more chances I'm going to have to play in majors. So, I mean, I'm not in any, as of right now, I'm not in a major next year. So a win would take care, on the PGA Tour would take care of that, and that would give me more chances in majors. So, but to be leading a PGA last year, or this year, that Jace won was fantastic. Just to know that I can be up there. I didn't have as good a weekend I would have liked, but it was still a great feeling.
Obviously, with your successes on the PGA Tour, including going well on the FedEx as well, is there any sort of level of frustration at all that you don't get the accolades in Australia, or will that come with winning a big event in Australia?
No, I mean, not when you have Adam Scott and Jason Day to play behind. I mean, Jason had one of the best years of any Australian ever on tour. So, no, not at all. I'm just happy to be happy to be playing on the PGA Tour and keep doing what I'm doing. And if my golf gets me more accolades back here, that'd be great. But it's only going to come from victories and doing what they do week in and week out.
Mike?
Matt, just on the theme of the majors again, you've got an early chance to secure a place in the Open Championship, the British Open this week. I know you played at St Andrews this year, and I think the previous year. How much would that mean as well? Yeah,
that's always probably the one major I've always wanted to win would be the British Open. It's probably my favourite major because it's similar to playing golf in Australia, what we grew up on, windy, fast, hard. And that's why I'm playing this Australian Open, is to win the Australian Open and to get a start in the British Open. That's a great way to be able to get into a major for myself and for a lot of other guys that wouldn't otherwise get a lot of opportunities to do it.
Jim?
Matt, when you were a young fella at the Australian, there's a lot of old black and white photos of some of the greats who've won at the course, like your Nicklases and David Grahams. As a little fella, did you take interest in that history and look at the black and white photos? Yeah,
I've been in this clubhouse since I was 15, so I've seen all those photos, and it's pretty cool to look at. To have my name on the trophy alongside all those great golfers would be amazing. So yeah, it's fun to think about, but now I've got to go and execute and do it.
Was there an Australian Open when you were a younger up-and-comer where you actually were in the gallery or following players particularly? I've been to a lot. I remember out here watching Tiger in '97. I remember watching Norman. I don't know what years it was. I think it might have been the year he had the Albatross on 5. But I remember watching a lot of Opens and then watching a lot of Greg Norman golf tournaments, classics and stuff. But I used to roam the fairways all the time, watching golf in Australia as much as I could.